and I see a hovercraft. Okay, like zooming in low. But something
Uh-huh.
didn't feel right about it because I've been in a lot of alien experiences with a lot of crafts. And this had I'm just gonna say a military type of feel to it. I could see the other aliens around me. They were in my view, and they were
Mm-hmm.
communicating with me the whole time. And they were like, "Hey, this is not us." I've had a lot of weird alien experiences lately. How about
Oh,
that?
stop it. Okay. Like so many people are talking about disclosure and all these kinds of things, but like maybe it doesn't happen at the UFO descends upon the White House and the president gets on the TV and is like, we have aliens. Like maybe disclosures at an individual level, and certainly as your consciousness sort of is ready to receive it, you start to have these experiences. So like clearly disclosure is happening for you.
Oh no, it's happening. But the thing is with this is I've always had that since I was little. So it's like
Uh-huh.
not anything that's new to me. It's just that other people are now experiencing it. I'm like, "Oh, look. Like we're all having these experiences now."
Okay, okay. So I totally get that because like you've been just you were born just with the ability to kind of see energy at a totally different level. So like aliens to you, you're like, well, hey Bob, hey Sally.
Like
Nice to
totally.
see you. I haven't seen you for a week. But if someone else is sharing that experience where they haven't had that kind of familiarity and you're
Right.
like both witnessing something like
Totally.
otherworldly. So, oh my God, I'm dying to hear
Well, it's like, I mean, it's quantum entanglement, right? So if I'm with somebody who's like, dude, I had this experience, and I actually had that a couple nights ago. I was driving up here, and I have a good buddy of mine, and he's all into the alien stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and it's my energy and my knowing and my experiences coming up against his energy, and it opens up a new doorway, right? Because then I'm also experiencing where he's at.
Oh, because your energy is entwined. And so
Exactly,
it's not
exactly.
necessarily this is your experience and this is his. It's collectively you've created this new sort of
Right.
third. 1 + 1 = 3. And
Exactly.
so the experience was of that collective vibration. That's why it's so important to choose your friends.
Oh, totally. The ones who fit you the best. And also like I want to say with that, I can be as weird in myself as possible around the people I'm around.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm having these experiences all day and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, hey, look at that." And then it opens up such another level, and if I'm being real and vulnerable with them, like that just magnifies everything that we're doing. Right?
Yeah. So, okay, well, tell me more. Did you see a craft? Did you see,
Oh, let's
oh,
shoot back.
okay.
About a month ago or so, well, maybe a little over a month ago or so. I went and
Okay.
got my pup, who's sitting right next to me, my
Aw.
service pup, and it was out in South Dakota. Okay, and I was with my partner, and she has been all over like I'm wanting to experience more with aliens. And I'm hearing this more and more just by like people who are out like I'm ready to experience a little bit more about what this universe has to offer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm always laughing because the aliens are always right in our faces. Like they're always right there, like ready for us to interact. It's just is our consciousness and our physical body ready to be able to perceive it,
Yes,
right?
right,
So
right. Because we only really perceive like 1% or
for
something of the
sure,
visible light
for
spectrum. And so if there's something out resonate outside of that, they're like, oh, hey, Z, how you doing? We've been following you, watching
we've
you,
been here, we're in your
walking
face,
side by side with you.
we're in the trees, we're in animals. Like, I mean, girl, I could go in really deep about what I've seen, but I'm gonna go back to this
Okay,
particular
okay,
topic with
okay,
that.
okay.
My partner was like, "Yeah, I'm really ready to experience more. Like, let's go with it." I'm like, "Oh, you just called it, so we're gonna see how this goes on the way home, right?" We were driving through, oh, I think it was Wyoming. We were driving through Wyoming. Um,
Okay.
and she had her GPS on, and we hit this weird town. I don't even remember what it's called. But the feeling was really off. I was like, I don't really like this. There's nope. And like the GPS was like shooting to different places, right? And so like I'm intuiting it and I'm like, we just need to get out. Like to
Okay.
me, it looked entirely different because I was like, there's been some really narky stuff here. It looked military. Like I can see alien stuff moving through there, but the town itself, like the vibe was like, nope. So I'm like, we need to get on this road and get out. Right? Like you just need to go straight. It's fine. We'll figure out the rest. And she was in her process of it and she's like, all right, I think we go down this road and get ourselves out. And I'm just sitting back going, yeah, I'm not sure that that's gonna happen. She goes down the road and it takes us off into this field, right? Like
Oh
totally
God.
like totally like way, way off. And I'm like, I'm gonna tell you right now that I'm gonna want you to turn around and go back because this is not great.
Yeah, I was feeling worse and worse by the second.
Oh, it was for sure. And then for me, I had lots of memory coming back, lots of alien stuff completely. I could see so many of them. But in this case, on Earth, this particular point was pretty fatal for them, right? I was seeing wars moving around there. I was seeing military interacting with it, and it was pretty harmful. And so as she was moving her way out in the car, I was working with these beings that were in the space, and I was like, what can I do in the space? Obviously, I'm here for a reason. And it was me to remember pieces of it in other lifetimes that I had in the same types of spaces, and to also kind of help with the land to help move it so that it was stabilized.
Oh my God, that's amazing. So it's almost as if they kind of pulled you in because they knew you could
Yeah.
kind of help
Oh,
release it.
totally.
Um,
Totally.
you're like, you could also just book a session, the-zcollective.com. Um,
Hit me up another way. Yeah, no, this wasn't like that.
right?
It's usually like that in my existence. So I'm like, even coming out here, it was a call from not just aliens, but Earth. Like, so I'll be doing some deeper, like, ceremonial work after this, actually. Uh,
Oh, cool.
But yeah, yeah. So it was like that, and I was moving it, and she got back on the road, and there was just some other stuff happening. I'm like, this is going to be a good night. We head into another zone where there's just nothing around us, and I see a hovercraft. Okay, like zooming in low, and I'm like,
Okay.
hey, babe, like it's coming our way. And she could see the light, but she like couldn't really see like the outside form of it. I'm like, that's okay, that's cool. Let's just keep going, right? And we head and get to the stop sign. Like me again, this is in the middle of nowhere. Um,
Uh-huh.
and we take a right, and all of a sudden I hear these guys, and they're coming. It's a low hovercraft. Okay, but something
Uh-huh.
didn't feel right about it because I've been in a lot of alien experiences with a lot of crafts, and this had I'm just gonna say a military type of feel to it.
Sure. Yeah, that's kind
Okay.
of the vibe I'm getting from you. Like it was
Yep,
because some people have it and it's very benevolent and loving, or like people are like the Pleiadian energy is very
sure,
supportive and, uplifting of humanity's ascension process. But you're saying like this was maybe something very different of more
totally.
military, more like kind of conflict.
Yep, yep. It did not feel good. I turn around and this craft is just barely off the floor. Okay. It
Hmm.
looked kind of like a half semi, but a half circle. It was really interesting, the way that it was viewing, and I could see the other aliens around me. They were in my view. Carolee wasn't to the point where she was seeing all of those guys, and they were
Hmm.
communicating with me the whole time, and they were like, "Hey, this is not us, and we want to make sure that you know that." And I'm like, yeah, no, I got it. 10-4, like ready to kind of move out of that space. But instead of like coming at it from a fear space, I was
Yeah.
just communicating with them with a lot of love and respect for where they're at and whatever
Yeah.
that was in the space that I didn't want. I'm like, I'm not going to interact with it. But as I'm looking at it, I see the door open and something's coming out of it. Definitely not human. Um, my dog is sitting there looking at it, and he lets out one bark, and I'm like, respectfully, Carolee, we need to head the other way right now.
I want to double click on what they said to you that said this isn't us. And so like what part of that, what like were they benevolent? Were they trying to come with a positive message? And then like maybe people from Earth were like, we're gonna steal your technology. We want to dominate you, or like sort of like the
It
dark
was like
forces
that.
on
It
Earth
was,
kind
I
of
want to
thing.
say it's definitely like the polarity of that. It was
Yeah.
the distortion piece that I was viewing throughout this whole experience. And I was in this probably for days. Like there was no time for me because I was constantly working with the aliens, right? There was a lot of like no space time in there.
Yeah.
It was just them saying, I want everybody to discern that we don't have this feeling. Okay.
With the feeling of
Love, like they were very much so a loving species, and
okay.
there's many of them there, so it wasn't just one. But whatever that was in that hovercraft, and I was looking at not just the energy, I was looking at the mechanics of it. I'm like, there's earth mechanics in there, so I know that there's interference. This is not
Interesting.
just,
Because I mean, like, if you dive into like the secret space program and those kinds of things where they're
right.
kind of reverse engineering and kind of creating their own. So I almost wonder, like, if some of the alien technology was kind of used for negative forces on Earth here, and maybe they were trying to either reclaim it or to try and retune it, or I don't know what they were doing,
Totally. Yep.
but because it goes back to like the Majestic 12 and all of these things that were happening
Right.
like in the
Sure.
50s, around the
Sure.
time that the Brookings Institute came out, and they said humans can't handle the alien story. So we're just going to like create that cover up and make,
Right.
make aliens be scary and bad. But in reality, like we were kind of, not we, but like people on Earth in leadership positions were kind of like
Sure.
negotiating with sort of negative alien energies and doing this sort of like trade. I mean, there's like all this research
Right.
out there. I don't
Right.
know, I don't know anything from anything, but like Laura Eisenhower does talk a lot about that.
Right.
Um, but it's interesting that you kind of witnessed sort of that reverse kind of thing where it was like maybe the humans were the aggressors and the aliens were the ones that were really loving and trying to say, hey, can you help us kind of get out of this little jam here? And
Totally. Yeah, yeah.
wow.
I mean, I've got a lot of experience with that and I've moved through a lot of those spaces. So like if you ever want to pop on here and have deeper questions or anybody else who like is watching this who has deeper questions, I'm very open to exploring those pieces.
Oh, I love that topic. I really do,
Yeah.
because I think
Yeah,
it's our next evolution as humanity to
for sure.
understand what else is out there and to connect with our with a cosmic family.
Yeah, yeah, no. It was a very loving space and it's something that I've carried since I was little. So I know the difference between what is and what isn't. And also, I'm going to put a definite big and also there's they're so respecting of the free will and how humanity is growing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not a place of malice. It's like just understand that that's not us and get a feel for it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're not portraying ourselves in that manner. Okay, because this was like aggressive. It wasn't a nice feeling. It wasn't loving. I
Yeah.
could see the images and whatever was coming out of that. And the first thing like that would make my body afraid is that wasn't a loving space, right? I knew that there's like
Right.
some human stuff in it. And so it was for me to go, there's no right or wrong to this. That is a choice. That is a piece that humanity is working with, right? And also, like, I'm going to continue to work with these beings and understanding that the way that they're going to come through is very loving and
Yeah.
very
So it's
supportive.
really like nothing to really fear when it comes to sort of these types of connections, but humanity has been conditioned to fear it through
Correct.
movies and through the media and through,
Totally.
like aliens, ha 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 ha, you must be crazy. But in reality, it's probably one of the most natural, loving things, we can experience.
For sure. And also, too, their frequency is it's very different from ours. So to get them to understand, for us to get to understand them, and vice versa. I mean, we're all working with each other, right? It's for our consciousness to be at the right level where we have the ability to receive what they're offering, right?
Because I would guess they'd have to diminish sort of their vibratory rate so we can raise ours and meet them in the middle somewhere, right?
Sure,
Or can
that's a
they
piece
still
to it.
exist at this high level?
They can still exist. I mean, that's going to be I mean, they're all around me right now. So they're like, no,
Hi.
we can modulate our frequency, right?
Yeah.
That's not it. But what they're doing is also helping us evolve. So that would mean that we do need to meet them at some sort of a level.